What's going on, everybody? I am the Kilted Cajun, and what I want to talk about today, right now, in this video, is something that's been on my mind for a little while. And that thing in particular is the DCEU, Extended Universe, DCEU, DC Universe. This little news report from 4 days ago: Warner Brothers is still open to keeping Ezra Miller as the Flash. Now, that title alone kind of irritates the ever-loving hell out of me. Simply the idea that Warner Brothers would keep Ezra Miller, and yet they dropped Henry Cavill as Superman like it was nothing. Thanks, James Gunn. You're an idiot. You're going to tank your franchise. You're going to tank the DC Universe before you even get started. People wanted to see Henry Cavill. He was brought in at the last minute, at the 11th hour, at the end of Black Adam. Everything was talked about. It was announced and all this other stuff. And nah, we changed our mind. So in this little article from CBR, Warner Brothers Discovery is keeping its options open when it comes to Ezra Miller remaining as the Flash. I'm sorry. This is just ridiculous. Report from Variety shed light on the inner workings of rebuilding the DCU after a string of dramatic incidents surrounding its recent project. String of dramatic incidents, huh? What incidents are those? Among those issues includes Miller's public meltdowns. That's what you want to call it? Repeated run-ins with law enforcement in early 2022. Huh. Now, as Miller has, quote, stayed out of trouble since seeking mental health, Now, what are those troubles, you might ask? Well, let's go to this other nifty little article from CBR as well, from August 27th. Ezra Miller finally promised, okay, because you can trust him. Ezra Miller finally promised to get self-help after learning Warner Brothers might scrap the Flash. Wow. So, let's see what we got here. According to Hollywood Reporter, Miller was not concerned about the negative headlines. Oh boy, you should be. They were compelled to take action after it was reported to Warner Brothers film chair Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdy were thinking about canceling the film. We'll talk about that more. Ezra Miller's controversies. So, what is it that happened? Over the last year, Miller has been embroiled in controversies and legal issues involving assault, burglary, and harassment. Most recently, Miller was arrested, charged with felony burglary after video recordings showed them burglarizing a residence while the homeowners were away. Lucky for him. Taking multiple bottles of alcohol. Yeah, he also evaded, I believe it was a subpoena, with a woman whose parents wanted their daughter away from him. Hey, it's the parents, you let your 12-year-old daughter hang out with Ezra Miller. But anyway, controversies first made headlines in March when Miller was arrested in Hawaii for disorderly conduct after harassing the patrons of a karaoke bar. Pretty sure there was assault involved with that. A month later, a couple filed a restraining order against Miller after Ezra Miller. After Ezra made death threats against the pair and allegedly took some of their belongings, including a wallet and passport. That's theft. This was followed by a number of similar incidents, so it was not the last time the actor's actions made headline. Back in 2020, a video surfaced showing the Flash star choking a female bar patron in Iceland. She was pregnant as well. It wasn't until recent months that the incident was explained. According to the victim, the incident began as a joke and quickly escalated into a fight. Well, now how is it possible? Ezra Miller has been arrested a couple times, charged with breaking and entering, has assaulted women, and yet he's still able to keep his goddamn job. I'm sorry, this is infuriating to me. You drop Henry Cavill like it's nothing. Like, who cares? People want to see Henry Cavill, but you're going to keep Ezra Miller. You drop Warner Brothers canned, what was it, the Batgirl movie? Like it was nothing, but you keep Ezra Miller. Disney, if you've forgotten, dropped Johnny Depp because of allegations. There was no proof at the time. Disney dropped him based on allegations, and yet Ezra Miller can just do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And if you think just because it's been 3 or 4 months that, oh, he's been on good behavior for the past 3 or 4 months, this is a problem. Whatever problems Ezra Miller's going through, I don't know what it is. He needs help, but just keeping him around, it's you got to start to wonder, does Ezra Miller know where the body's buried? Or maybe he can describe down to the vein the members of the executives at Warner Brothers. So, let's continue. Development of the Flash standalone film, which is going to be a convoluted mess, came after years of directors and script changes. By 2019, the project came together with IT director Andy, I'm not going to try it, a screenplay by Christina Hodson, and a multiverse premise inspired by the comic book storyline Flashpoint. Miller reunited with Justice League actors Affleck and Kiersey Clemons for the film, while Michael Keaton reprised his Bruce Wayne role from 1989's Batman. If this movie gets released, also apparently it's testing very positive with audiences and everything. It's testing a hell of a lot better. So this isn't a matter if the movie is going to be good or not. This is a matter of the outlook, I guess, responses from one studio versus the response of another studio. Warner Brothers keeping Ezra Miller on despite assault charges, breaking and entering, being arrested, one thing after another, whereas other actors get canceled over a 10-year-old tweet, or people lose their jobs, they get dropped by Hollywood and the general public like a bad habit based on allegations. No trial, no proof, no nothing, just allegations. It's just absolutely mind-boggling. The article goes on, Ezra Miller's legal issues still loom. Legal troubles throughout 2022 cast a dark cloud over post-production of The Flash. You got that right. While initial reports last summer suggested WB Discovery would not proceed with The Star after the film's release, Miller eventually apologized because, yay, to the executives in person and returned to production for reshoots in October 2022. However, The Star's future remains uncertain as they pleaded not guilty. How do you plead not guilty? You're on camera in the state to felony burglary charges in the state of Vermont. The next hearing is set January 13th. So this especially with James Gunn coming in to essentially reboot the DC universe, where exactly is this movie going to stand? Even if they release it, even if people actually still want to see this movie, it's going to be meaningless. It's going to have Jason Momoa. It's going to have the Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman. It's going to have Henry Cavill. It's going to have Gal Gadot. But those people, those actors and actresses are, well, except for Gal Gadot, because there's a report that she might still be sticking around. But the rest of them, they're not going to be part of the universe anymore. So are people actually going to feel like they need to see this show? Are people going to be turned off by the movie because of Ezra Miller's actions? How is that going to affect the box office? Regardless of how well the movie tests in the screenings, the public outcry, the public, I guess, viewpoint, word I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. I should do more research on this stuff, but I do terrible with scripts. I hope you understand what I mean. The court of public opinion is still out on Ezra Miller. There are a lot of people who think he should just be dropped like a bad habit. Maybe you feel the same way. If nothing else, whatever problems he's going through, whatever the reason for those problems, I do genuinely believe he needs help, because his behavior over the past year, it has a cause. There is something wrong. You just don't snap like that. You don't assault people in a bar. You don't choke a pregnant woman. You don't break into someone's house unless there's something going on behind the scenes. And whatever it is, honestly, genuinely, I hope, I do hope Ezra Miller gets the help he needs, if he does need it. Is it possible that he just gets drunk and decides to act out? Is he doing it just for, shits and giggles to show off? Who knows? Maybe so. But I just don't, I don't understand how one company can dump somebody based on allegations, and yet Ezra Miller, who's been arrested multiple times, who knows? Maybe genuinely want to give him a second chance. It remains to be seen. Let's see if Ezra Miller can keep his nose clean, so to speak, get on better behavior. Robert Downey Jr. did prison time and came back as Iron Man and has turned his life and his career around. Maybe Ezra Miller can do the same thing for themselves. Sorry. So tell me what you think in the comments. Thank you for sticking around this long. Leave a like, leave a dislike, share this with your friends. I appreciate you for sticking around this long. Have a good one.